issue of corporate greed. That's right. The big corporations that populate the urban sprawl for veterinary clinics are definitely out to keep the small veterinarians in the rural communities from prospering. Why would they want to do that? That just seems crazy. However, they want to put their noses in all of the legislation in states, and they are one of the big reasons that many states are not allowing animal chiropractors to work independently within their states. Animal chiropractors can be there to help rural veterinarians monitor patients, triage processes, help their animals get better, help them to reduce their workload, and actually help them to focus on the things that require veterinary skills. So, why are these corporations sitting in legislation and saying, oh, no, animal chiropractors got to have direct supervision? Because you know what? Veterinary skills don't have a... Here we go. Where was I? So here's the thing. How is my small town rural veterinarian who's already overworked and underpaid going to have time to supervise an activity they have no idea what it is? Their only exposure to it is probably some video on the internet, which we've had that discussion. That's not animal chiropractic. That is not the detection and correction of vertebral subluxation. It's somebody cranking on a dog or a horse and somebody else in the background making a noise. Animals don't make noise like that, guys, because they are more hydrated than you and I on a regular basis. They, generally speaking, they don't care if their water's a little dirty. They'll go eat it, drink it anyway, because it keeps them from dehydrating. And it probably is full of minerals too, like this puddle in front of me that, the puppy just laid down and drank out of because she thought that was a good water source. So, guys, corporate greed is what's sitting in the legislations and taking over veterinary medicine. It's not the veterinary, the state veterinary associations are not there for the veterinarian, and they're also not there for the general public. Their job is to protect the public from unscrupulous veterinary activity, and quite often that's not even their goal, because they're so populated with corporations. My friend Will Falconer calls it Dr. Whitecoat. The guy in the suit and the tie and all that stuff, who is there to, as if he ever wears that to work. And yet, here they are. James Herriot wore a suit and tie to work all the time, apparently, because that was in that day, that was the uniform for even large animal veterinarians who are out there doing the thing. But these days, scrubs. You're going to see more doctors in scrubs than you are in suits and ties, which, it's kind of sad that the dress code has declined over the years. But you know what? What also happened was it followed the economics. And the economics of veterinary medicine meant that nobody changed their prices. And they kept saying, people kept saying, I can't afford you. And veterinarians kept lowering their prices or keeping their prices the same, didn't raise them appropriately. And now the corporations come in and buy these clinics for pennies on the dollar and raise the prices and infuse a whole bunch of things that don't actually help your animals. All right, let's get an x-ray. An x-ray does not solve the problem. An x-ray just points at something. Hey, there's a bone here. Most people don't realize that. Most people, I had this conversation with my brother yesterday. He wanted to know a little bit about why, after I hit my head, I didn't rush off to the hospital. And I said, so really, what are they going to do? You know, I had a concussion. It's a hospital. They're not going to do surgery. So what are they going to do? They're going to watch me in bed. They're going to put me in a bed, say, don't move. They're going to watch me to make sure nothing gets worse. And guys, that's life. That's how medicine works. More MRIs and more x-rays do not solve the problem. We already knew what the problem was. I hit my head. I bled a lot. And so the healing process means my brain has to heal. I have to regenerate some blood, the cells, and I got to work on a little physical therapy so that, and I have to stay adjusted. In order to keep those muscles strong and balanced, I have to get adjusted at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And that's what really helps me to keep moving forward and doing better. Now, everybody else thinks, didn't you get an MRI? An MRI does not solve the issue at hand. In much the same way that animal chiropractic, it doesn't really require x-rays. Sometimes it's nice to have x-rays because it can confirm what you're finding and confirm why you're seeing the symptoms that you're seeing. But it doesn't solve the problem. Oftentimes, the adjustment itself will give you a lot more information. And we use our chiropractic adjustment as a diagnostic tool. If we can adjust an animal and they get better, bonus. If we can adjust an animal and they don't get better, bonus as well, because now we know that we need something more. If you're a veterinarian or a chiropractor and you have yet to add animal chiropractic to your practice, and you want to avoid getting caught up in this corporate greed that's taking over veterinary medicine, find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com. Better yet, find one of my alumni and talk to them. You can find them at A.C.E.S.alumni.com. They've got another 14 days that they can give you an amazing offer on Animal Chiropractic 101. Find them today at acesalumni.com. Find someone who's close to you. Have them adjust your animals and help us fight corporate greed. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.